It's your boy, A-N-T. Excuse me. Agent A-N-T. Coming to y'all live with a little Outer Worlds stream for a minute. I'm going to stream some of this and probably hop on maybe some 2K. But for sure, I got to hop on Apex. I only got 10 more levels to finish the battle pass. So I'll probably hop on that on a Twitch later on. Follow me on Twitter below, so I'll be tweeting out when I be streaming and shit like that. So, big things popping in the last couple days, y'all. Big things popping, and that's kind of why I haven't been uploading in the last couple days. Got been deciding on shit and stuff like that. So if y'all didn't know, I was working at Five Guys, but I fucking left because I'm done with fast food. Hold on, what the fuck this dude want?
Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right?
Yeah, fam, I'm new here. Never been here before in my fucking life.
You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off.
I didn't even see that, I'm sorry.
Wish more folk could say that. Gets awful quiet guarding a landing pad that never gets used. You may not have heard, you being new,
sounds like an easy job.
Hardly ever gets off-road traffic. Us being cut off by the board and all.
I did hear something about that.
I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna and halcyon. Please state your name for the records.
Alex Hawthorne, sure,
Well,
buddy.
There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your own entry code. I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict about the rules here. Besides, I got a lot of empty entries to fill. We don't get ship traffic in town.
I don't really know. Only over
Offloaders
here.
who do make it out here are Sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook.
So I was trying to tell y'all how I had those 2 dispensaries, or I had a warehouse that works with marijuana trying to hire me, and I also had a dispensary trying to hire me. Ended up taking the warehouse job, so I start that this Monday through Friday. I think it's like 6:30 to 3 or 7 to 3 or some shit like that, something like that. But I'm gonna be trimming marijuana and shit like that. So that's kind of what I'm gonna be doing. And so with that set schedule, I'm gonna be uploading more frequently, I guess. So stay tuned for all that. I got a couple videos written out. I got the videos for them. I just gotta record them. And after that, I'm gonna write a couple more first.
Oh, that'll
For
just
show
make Mr.
and
Sanjar's
just
day,
have
you can tell
content.
him.
I'm gonna still
The
be
board makes up
streaming,
lots of fancy
streaming every
stories
day.
about raptidons and cannibals and whatnot.
With Apex's
But that's
battle
all outside
pass
our walls, mostly.
kind of coming to an end in the next 10 days. I'm probably jump
Oh,
back
sure.
on
It makes Stellar
a
Bay
fighting
sound
game
like a
probably.
rotten
I'm gonna
place,
still
but
probably
it's not
play
so
Apex,
bad.
but I
Get a good
I
breeze
always
going,
say I'm gonna
sulfur
get my
smell
fighting
bubbles
game
up,
groove
fishy
back,
smell.
and I really was on it for a minute.
The nostalgic
But
stench of home. Can't say I
I
miss
don't
the
know.
day
I just
to
be
day
on
of
this game, and
Edgewater.
I just don't have the time like
Anyway,
that. But
Mr. Sanjar's got lots to say on that subject.
my food's
Kinda
here.
goes over my head, though.
Was not paying
Mr. Sanjar will be
any
mighty
attention
pleased
to
to
what bro
meet you.
was saying, but
If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you? Oh, and if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor?
what you need, folk?
I got this Rizzo's Rangers Tossball poster coming in on the next Sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard
Sounds racist,
anything in a
but
while.
I'll let it slide.
You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in?
Yeah, I got you.
I couldn't really say. I'm just a fan of the game.
Oh, now
But
you
the fancy
capping.
collector types say the more people see these things, the less valuable they are. And I figure my poster's been passed around by more than a few people by now. That's Bertie Holcomb, only one of the greatest tossball hackers ever. Everyone's heard of him, even on Monarch. We still get some of the games. You been living in a sulfur pit or something? Oh, you're real.
Yeah.
Thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building.
Alright. I'm out. I'ma fuck with you. So I'm kinda hyped to start this new job. For sure. I'm so fucking hyped. I'm supposed to work tomorrow. Here's the thing. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. One dentist appointment. Well, I actually have 2 dentist appointments tomorrow. But one is at 9, the other one's at 10. I have work at 11. I work 11 to 11 tomorrow. Ask me if I'm trying to go to work 11 to 11. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Good times, baby. Stream been brought to you by Good Times. They're not affiliated with me. I'm just eating it right now. There's nobody over here? Cause I'm gonna rob you motherfuckers blind. Yeah. All that.
Keep it down.
Alright. Cool. Alright. Looks like you kind of tripping.
Hold it.
Oh no. Someone's coming up to me. I was just leaving.
All right. Don't let me catch you here again.
No, you're good. I already got what I needed. Really. Okay. What's wrong with you?
Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong. Like my little boy isn't at risk of being eaten by some vile creature.
Oh?
Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back.
Not little
he
Tucker.
Ran away and is going to get himself killed. Oh, I just know a raptor
Melting
is
him with
melting
acid?
as
Hey, I feel that, man.
It's more dissolving than melting.
That is not helpful. Don't you tell me to calm down.
So they're basically gonna have me trimming for the next few months. And they said the more I trim, the more hourly pay I get. So there's incentives and shit. And then there's like other parts of the warehouse I can move into, whatever. Just seems like a real good fit for me. Seems like something I actually want to do. I ain't gotta deal with bullshit customers and bullshit employees and fucking GMs who don't know what the fuck they're doing. But we'll see, you know? Something new. And you know, we as humans, I believe we're creatures of habit. And it's really hard to break those habits once we get into them. So it was even hard for me to, like, once I even got the job, I'm like, damn, like, do I even want to leave the job I'm at right now? Because it's secure. It's a for sure check. I make more here. But I think I need to do this. It's a better schedule. Could be better pay, benefits, and shit like that. So, yeah. I'm hyped. And, yeah, I'm not trying to work my last shift tomorrow for 12 hours. I'm not trying to go to a 12-hour shift. So, I think tonight sometime I'm actually going to go there and turn in my key, and that's that. They're going to be pissed, but fuck them. Been fucking giving my fucking blood, sweat, and tears there for years, and never had a fucking paid day off. Don't have any paid vacation days. Nothing. So fuck him. Oh yeah, where's my reward at for trying to find little Tucker?
I can't ask you to leave the town walls for free. It is deathly dangerous out there. I've got some bits saved up for a rainy day. I'll give you every last one if you just bring my Tucker back to me. I won't even be mad at him running off. You tell him I won't be mad.
Y'all see this, bruh? Sorry, I wasn't trying to chew all out in the camera, but goddamn, that was bomb as shit. But
he's been pining for an adventure. Says he's tired.
Sounds like most girls on Tinder.
But he doesn't understand
looking for an adventure.
Dangerous it is out there.
I'm just trying to chill.
But
that's just me. But
no one's ripped his arm off and is gnawing on his sweet little fingers.
They're gonna be pissed that I'm not gonna show up, and I
promised
the only real incentive there is the food. Like I've been, bro, for the last 3-4 years, I have not had to pay for one drink, one meal, nothing there, and that's gonna suck, cause bro, free food in this day and age, especially as expensive as Five Guys is, bro. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss some of the people there too. Shout out my boy Lorenzo. Omar was cool. My homie Miguel.
He's been listening to those awful broadcasts that the iconoclasts put out. I begged Sanjar to put a stop to them.
The iconoclasts?
But did he? No. And now I just know my boys run off to Amber Heights. That is, if a Manta Queen hasn't spooled out and eaten his entrails for breakfast already. Those low-life degenerates, leading innocent boys into a life of danger. Oh, they make it sound so exciting. Like it's noble to risk it all out there, fighting for the greater good.
Sounds like a PMC.
Not at all, I say. But still they preach their sermons of anarchy and rebellion to anyone who listened. If they weren't holed up in Amber Heights, I'd knock them all upside the head. That old settlement, southwest of Stellar Bay. I don't know which is worse, the thought of my son shacking up with the nutty iconoclasts, or that he never made it. Sprats could be nesting in his rotting body alongside the road as we speak. Or maybe marauders got him, pulled all his teeth out, crushed him into their drugs and made him snort them. Oh, the things that could happen to my sweet baby.
What the fuck? That was very descriptive.
Oh, I know he'll be safe.
Very specific and descriptive.
You look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road southwest of town. I'm sure he made it that far. I just know it. And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you punch them in the mouths. Tell them what I think
She
of them
said
luring little
they
boys
pulled
away
his
from
teeth
their
out.
mamas. It's immoral.
Crushed him up into their drugs and made him snort drugs that were laced with his teeth. That is some of the sickest shit I've probably ever heard of in my whole life. Obsidian, what the fuck y'all be on?
Laws. Can a man enjoy the smooth menthol flavor of a Stogie Slim in peace?
What's up, kitty?
What I am doing, sir, is enjoying the moment. It's so rare that I can seize one apart from the jabbering masses of this wretched place.
I low-key regret not stealing a couple bags from my job, though. For my cat, I might have to take one when I turn in my key.
And how should they know what they're missing? I recall when Stellar Bay was a
I ain't gonna lie,
proper
this dude looks
board-affiliated
swagged out.
town with regular shipments of Anti-Cleo's best and all
Them
the cereals
glasses, I need them.
before Sanjar took over MSI and got us all booted. Days of consumption and culture, when we weren't squabbling with the iconoclasts for lack of better things to do. Look, you're making me melancholy. Is there something you wanted?
Help! Someone's been killed! I think I'm gonna be sick. I clean the apartments while everyone's at work. I've seen all sorts of messes, but this... If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
What a gruesome way to die.
Not much I can do for this guy.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit. Get a grip, he says. As if I haven't survived this place for 10 years. This town is enough to try anyone's nerves. Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rat spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation. And I was a fool for staying. Sanjar, of course. He had all these glorious ideas about how he'd run Monarch. Rest periods between every work shift. No shift more than 10 hours long. It all sounds wonderful, Until you realize there's only a few centimeters of repurposed steel between you and the deadliest creatures in the galaxy.
That's what she said.
There's truly no end to my suffering. Only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly get ships on a regular basis, yours notwithstanding. And even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot, or dissolved in... Well, thank you for reminding... Nothing. That's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call good standing with the board. So even if I could get... Was there something else? That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Whoa, hold on, Okay. Look, Captain. This is the best I can do with... Sure. Look.
Good day to you.
Watch your step if you venture outside. Got any news from the rest of Halcyon?
What do you think you're doing?
Carry on.
you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial H Mammoths. I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Monarch? Ha! Maybe we're not so isolated as I thought. So, what can I do for you? Graham's always filling the airwaves with this propaganda, like it's done him any good. All it means is the tossball games get to us in fragments. Makes them real hard to watch. What can I...
If Velma's capable of running the warehouse, she can certainly pick up her own caffeinoid.
Don't be so hard on her. With Brax missing, she's working doubles and needs a little edge.
Very well, dearie. But you stop by anytime you like. Hmm?
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Sorry, I've got to get back to the warehouse.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you before. And with sweet cheeks like those, I'd remember.
Quite the bedside manner, lady.
Well, it's so rare I get the pleasure of new company. What can Auntie Abigail do for you? Yes, indeed. Someone's got to keep Stellar Bay's people. Oh, but I am. I get to see plenty of... She works over at the fishery next door. No disagreement there, dearie. But Velma can be a little prickly. Oh, but here I go again, running my mouth when it's none of my business. Was there something else you needed?
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean, more than usual.
Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way. You don't look like Sublight.
New folk in Stellar Bay. First drink's on me, stranger. Enjoy. If you plan on few.
I could use a few and tell it myself.
Anyone who spends any amount of time in this bar is bound to get to know Nyoka, on account of her being here so often herself. And I don't mean that unkindly. Anyone who's rid us of as many beasts as you have is entitled to a few drinks. Something else I can do for you? But it had a fancy ring to it. Name's the first advertising anyone sees, after all. Nope. But a man can dream. Not since Amber Heights. These days we have more leaving than coming. Off to join the Iconoclasts or some such. Bunch of marauders broke into the executive compound, slaughtered everyone. Corporations pulled out of Monarch not long after. I thought everyone knew. But then that was 10 years ago. Still feels fresh to us every time we look at our walls, though.
And the little bastard slipped its blood, so it's sliding all over the place, trying to crawl away. Getting so I can't tell the blood from the mud. Don't interrupt, it's rude. But I gotta get in there, get right in that baby rap's stomach and dig it out. If so much as a drop of stomach acid got on that medallion, I don't know what I'd do. Might be I'd hunt every damn rapt out there. Right. What are you staring? Wait. You ain't from around here. Who are you? Ooh, charmer. Don't get a lot of that around here. Folks mostly grump at me about how I should join the MSI payroll. Nice change of pace. Buy me a drink, will you? Outstanding! What are you doing in Stellar Bay, stranger? Well. Let's get down to brass nuts then, shall we? Wait, that ain't it. Brass rats? Let's talk business. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. You want a guide sooner than that? You have to get me something to clear my head. Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains a stock of, well, I don't rightly know what they are. Steroids? I'm cut off. Well, they work. We got a deal or what?
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and... Did she now? Well, I can see I was mistaken. Because if Catherine really had sent you, there'd be a lot more expletives in your message. I hope you can forgive my temper. This job has been running me ragged lately. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now my chief pescatological health manager is missing. Caleb Herrick. Runs the autoloader operators. He thinks I don't pay them enough for flipping switches and turning dials. He and his whole crew walked out. Say they won't come back unless I pay them more. Because we've got a budget, all right? And in case you haven't noticed, MSI doesn't exactly have a lot of spare bits on hand. You mind slapping him around a little while you're at it? I'm joking. Mostly. Unless you can do it without hurting his job performance. If you can find a way to get him back to work, I'll make it worth your while. Check the yacht club. Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get too many tumors. He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of working hours. Comes with living in a free colony, I guess. We're not keen on rules for rules' sake around here. Means Braxton skips work sometimes, but it also means no company boss is telling me when I can take a shit. Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, maybe you could check up on him. He lives in the apartments. Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing those extra jugs he's been taking from supply. Something else on your mind? Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job again, I've got nothing to say. Hard workers? They turn dials and flip switches. The machines do all the actual work. Caleb and his crew have it better than anyone else around here, I'll tell you that much. I don't have the... Besides, if I make it...
She's principled, in at least...
Thank you. If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back to it. For running me ragged while he takes an extended leave at the... Maybe so, but I bet you can't. He says he's got a stash to tide his crew over. Could be he's all talk, but if the money's real, I bet you he keeps it at home, near the diner. Fine by me. Sublight boss out of Fallbrook. Handles most goods that come in or out of Stellar Bay. Has a mouth like a Ground Six spacer.
Look, I don't... Oh, sorry.
Nice and easy.
Smells like wrapped in here.
Oh, it does work. I bought some musk from Sebastian to cover up the salt.
Hello. And what a
Whiskey help.
Please leave me. No. I'm so sorry, but with the iconoclast, our reserves have gotten so low. I've even had to start locking the supply. Isn't... I'd make an exception for you if I could, my little cherub. Oh, it's none of my business, but I have told her, Doc. Now I've gone and said too much, and you know... Dr. Williams managed... Oh, you flatter an old woman. And to keep an extra key to the supply room, for all the times Dr. Williams misplaced. Careless experimentation with medicine.
But until then...
Episodic pharmacology. In the town graveyard, I'm afraid. Poor man was always... The graveyard's near the southern ruins. Do be careful.
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir.
Well, Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me. Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's, perhaps? Or Auntie Cleo herself? Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate. But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna. a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board. Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious. Yes, freedom is a tempting ideal, but a rather costly paramour.
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
What?
Yes, it's as though the good vicar has plucked the very words from my brain.
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Returning to the board is your only chance if you hope to survive here on Monarch. That doesn't mean it'll be easily achievable.
Indeed not. No worthwhile plan was ever simple. That's what I always say.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data entry. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended. With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in, these days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons. Do be careful. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous... What can I do for... Then it's good that I keep... I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own by... Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was known as Terra 1. As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out. Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch as a lost cause. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the creating the perfect environment. Oh, well, there were surely other junior executives with more open minds, though none of them had. But I was keeping my tone flat and maintaining eye contact. You weren't supposed to notice I was...
This is why you've never been good.
Very well. Many, many years ago, Graham Bryant and I used to be collaborators of sorts. Indeed, for all the good it did. MSI's then leadership wasn't enthusiastic. They insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2. Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior...
Must have pissed off some real...
On the contrary, I wrote lots of very important reports on behalf of top MSI officials before I was able to achieve this position. I moved forward with our planned reforms, yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages. I don't think I realized how far they'd stoop. Everything we did was legal and above board. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
A necessary evil for the greater good of society.
That's exactly how... Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board. As far as I'm concerned, the less said about... Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago, and we both agreed that MSI's treatment... I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely. Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all...
Without the board, chaos would over...
If you can't beat him, might as well...
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being caught up... I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship. I've discovered it's much easier to negotiate from a position of power. And I don't mean to leave MSI. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here. And who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations. What can I do for you? I see. Well, that's excellent. What else can I do?
Greetings, and welcome to What can I do? Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really. I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else. Sort of the strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff, and some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell. I couldn't. What if he says no? Hey, maybe you could ask him for me. I mean, a no would still be bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask. Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about. Plus, he's got great grades. It's hard to find men who can skim from lower body exercises. Good to have standards, I guess. I know what I'm looking for. You think that's what I'm looking for? You're funny. Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else who isn't taken either smells like Saltuna or they're my boss. Besides, a man with a good smile and a proportionate... Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. We don't even got 5 racks. Oh, that's what I was even... Forgot the whole reason why I was even talking to Shorty.
I hear those rich people in Byzantium pay a handsome bit for rap muscles.
You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but I'll warn you.
Okay. What is this? Okay. So they're not making no money.
Hey, Velma, I got your caffeinoid pills.
You're a lifesaver. Hope Abigail didn't give you a hard time.
Just the usual. Any word on Braxton?
Nothing. Don't know how much longer I can cover for him either. Give me those pills, will you?
Here you go. You know, you might consider a real night's sleep instead. Velma's not so bad, as long as you afford it.
And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the sterile biotics we use for the fish would get you... We're not like those corporate towns where you get... Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows how... Something else on your... This again? You can tell Grimm his poster came in. You can also... That about cover it. She runs the betting part. She asked me about the poster once. I don't have time for Grimm. Sure can. Sure. And
Okay. For sure.
fine by.
I like this little barter we got going on. So let me find this dude Braxton for you. Actually, hold up. This nail person might have to get nailed.
If it isn't the famous, what can I do? Signed by the Black Hole. Why, did you want to see it? I don't have it yet. I'm waiting on a few customers to pay up before... You mean dopey landing pad Grimm? I didn't know he and Mr. Nandi were friends. Fine. Tell Velma that I don't want the poster anymore. I'll find something else to hang in my shop.
What? Show. Hit that level 18, baby.
I'd give you a friendlier welcome. Sure can. If you want to pay me. That's a surprise. Take the poster then. And
Nope. Alright, let's go. Whoa. Whoa. I'm tweaking. Don't even know where I'm going. Alright. Get a mission complete. That's more than I did in Byzantium for sure. Might have to head back there. It feels like one of them high level areas that I have to come back to, you feel me? So, that's what I'm gonna do.
Have you had time to check on that poster yet? Would you look at that? I can't thank you enough. Still, you know what? Take my old tossball blocker.
Gee, thanks. Ooh, level 3. Whack.
Ah, the jump.
Oh, I have to get them caffeinoid pills. Okay.
Couldn't help but notice your shooter, Dr. Fenrir. It's quite a sharp piece.
Isn't it something?
Okay, so I think there's something in this apartment.
It's funny. I thought you didn't care much for nice
I
things.
missed?
Hey, a pirate's nothing without a rep. And this baby has a rep of its own. Okay.
There gotta be something I'm missing, right? Ooh. It all comes back to nil. Fam, for real. Alright.
If it isn't the famous, what can I... Poor Isaac. I'd really like to help. They were pretty distinct. Monarch doesn't exactly have a thriving dental industry. Sometimes he'd drink purpleberry punch by the liter. Other times he'd keep betting on a losing team. I don't know for sure, but they're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything, Isaac. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it.
Cool. I'm gonna come back for you, Isaac. Talk to Caleb, see if he can come back to work. Chill.
Black fucking hole! Oh, that smarts. Damn near twisted my ankle right there.
I thought men and women of the cloth were supposed to be all meek and patient-like.
Black fucking hole, I'm crying.
Be right there.
Well, get y'all asses in here then. Shut the fuck up.
New fate. A ship captain? Well, I'll be. Here, let me buy you a drink. Why don't you grab a chair? Sit. Sure thing. I never meant to call for anyone's head on a pike. Velma's not devil at all. Now you got me feeling sorry for her. Fine. I guess we'll go back to work to save Velma's job. Tell Velma not to worry. We'll look...
Talk to Caleb. He speaks for all of us.
Alright, cool. You get y'all asses back to work then.
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but... You know... Well, that's... Thanks for your help. You've got something...
No. That's it. We gotta get those pills. Which I could probably go see Dr. Williams or whatever. But I think we're at a good stopping point. I gotta go quit my motherfucking job. Oh my god. So I'm gonna come back, probably play some 2K since that downloaded or something, or hop on some Apex for the rest of the night. But yeah, stay tuned, be safe, don't get smoked. It's been your boy Agent A&T coming to y'all live with the Outer Worlds commentary. No, don't let me load the game. I'm just trying to save the game. And yeah, peace.